Showen's squad formed on the southeastern corner beneath the cannon platform. It had been 45 minutes since the last wave. She was afraid to wait any longer. The number of ants still seemed to be twitching in the piles was rapidly shrinking. "We want the ones still alive if we can find them," she admonished the team. "Or just recently dead." They nodded. With Felix in the lead, the 5 of them went over the wall. They were lucky. The first pile they reached had ants still jerking spastically. Felix and Dominguez stood watch while Showen directed Ling and Morleone where and what to cut. "Damn," gasped Dominguez, staring at the carnage before their eyes. Felix agreed. "Damn." When they headed back, Felix saw that Showen's face looked pale behind her faceplate. "Good for you," he thought. The 5th hour began with the rotation of several groups back into the bunker for rest. All the scouts were in the first group. They were going out again, Felix was told, as soon as they returned. Felix eagerly accepted the opportunity, finding, to his surprise, that he had been looking forward to a shower all along. Later, he sat dripping in the head, smoking and watching himself in the mirror. He sure got used to this in a hurry, he thought. He found the mess with little trouble. He sat on a bench and sipped a mug of hot tea given him by an enthusiastic galley tech. At the next table, several young warriors discussed their first-ever sight of ants. Some were beginning to feel a delayed reaction of nausea at the experience. 2 said they wouldn't look the second time it happened. 1 said he felt sorry for all those poor ants. "I think I would have mutinied if I'd been one of them," he offered. Felix left. He wandered the passageways until he found the main hall. It was the largest room he had found by far. In it, several techs were aligning hundreds of seats and benches. On the far wall, a huge blank screen hung before the rows of empty seats. One of the techs explained that the old man was planning to address everyone later. Felix picked a seat at random and sat down to smoke and think. He stared at the screen. He thought some more. He finished a cigarette and lit another. He thought. What was wrong with him? His mind told him this was wrong. This was a lie, and his guts, his instincts, told him the same thing. There was a frailty here not yet seen, but he couldn't get excited about it. He couldn't get scared enough. His thoughts drifted to Kent. He hadn't seen him on the wall watching the slaughter. Embarrassed, he figured. A lot was expected from everybody's hero, but that didn't include a perfectly normal reaction to a perfectly abnormal dose of horror. He thought back to the easy tones he had heard from the man, and of the handsome face he had met earlier in the drop bay. All of it fitted with what Forrest had told him. No engine in that guy, he muttered to himself unconsciously. Too gentle. Too nice. Again, he thought of Forrest, and of how to best explain to Kent what had happened, and what it had meant. What she had meant. If he could just show him how much she had... Damn it! He gasped suddenly. He was crying again. What the devil was going on here? Come to think of it, what had been going on? Because it had been happening for a while now. Ever since... When? Machok, of course. Ever since Machok. He had screamed when he had seen what they did to Machok. Twice he had screamed. Twice! Not in fear or pain either, but in surprise and, face it, the anguish of loss. He had liked Machok, even in the short time he knew him. But how? And what had that bit in the ship been about anyway? Refusing to fight as if he had a choice. As if he had somewhere else to go and something else to do. As if he were a real live person again. Since being at the bunker, too, he had acted strangely. He had laughed with Dominguez. He had cried with the memory of Forrest. How? How was he able? He shook his head. He lit another cigarette. He had thought all such feelings long gone, long beyond his reach. But here he'd been, feeling like mad. Laughter and tears and more. He had to admit it. There was more. The memory was returning. Of her. Lately, he had caught himself, well, not exactly thinking about her directly. Nothing so deliberate. Nothing so daring. But he had seen her a couple of times. She had appeared, without conscious effort, full-blown and clear before his aching brain. All at once, she had been there. Maybe. Angel. Then the pain hit him. It clutched at his middle, doubling him over in agony. He pitched forward in his seat, dropping the mug clattering onto the floor. The searing anxiety shot bolting up and down his spine. The pain. The pain. As if no time had passed and nothing had happened. Desperately, he forced his thoughts to blank. He must hold them there. Blank. Blank. Empty. Think of nothing. Don't let it out. In a few minutes of long controlled breaths, he was safe. He could move. He stood up, ignoring the cup at his feet and the stares of the techs arranging the chairs. He headed back to the squad bay, back to another shower. Afterward, his face was pale and shaken in the mirror. It had been very close. Too damn close. It made him angry. Fool, he growled at himself. Idiot! With a snort of disgust, he shook his head, shaking off the beads of water from the shower that were maybe tears as well. He stared angrily at his own reflection, stared hard. He must concentrate. Psyching. After a while, he felt it start to happen. He felt himself dropping away, dropping back to nothing, to the nothing he had been, and to the nothing he still needed to be. But he couldn't get all the way. He couldn't quite get back to where he wanted. He couldn't quite get back to the engine, Felix. But he would, he told himself with bitter certainty. He would. He'd better.